Welcome to our Women Today table discussion.
Hello, welcome to Table Talk with myself, Locardia. Welcome to our Women Today Table Talk. Listen, I am super excited. If you're living anywhere outside the UK and you're thinking of coming to live in the UK, this Table Talk is for you. Listen, today we are going to talk about anything and everything, including life in the UK. So I am super excited. So come along as I have this conversation with these beautiful sisters. I am super excited and you don't want to miss this one. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Table Talk with myself.
Thank you.
How are we all doing?
Very well. Good. Doing well. Thank you.
Great. You all look beautiful. You look amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me at this Table Talk.
Thank you.
I am excited. Well, I know your names,
Yes.
but for the sake of our audience, please tell me your name, who you are, and where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Sibusiso Ndlovu from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Hello, my name is Rachel Ndlovu. I am also from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Ndlovu.
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Your daughter. Wow, that's amazing. Welcome to the Table Talk. Welcome,
Thank
ladies.
you.
And to you over here, lady, my sister.
Well, I'm Sivani Ndiweni. I'm from South Africa.
Welcome, my sister.
Thank you.
I'm Yemi Samuel Adeni. I'm from Nigeria.
Welcome. Nigeria in
All
the
the way
house.
from
South
Nigeria.
Africa in the house. Zimbabwe in the house. Well, I'm excited. So thank you so much for joining me, ladies, at this Table Talk. I'm super excited. And I want us to talk about the experiences here in the UK. I know you have said where you are from. And so I want us to talk about your experience in Zimbabwe, or let's start with your experiences in the UK. Obviously, when you're still in Africa, wherever you were from, in Nigeria, South Africa, and the moment you realize, anyway, tell me about the first time, the moment you realize that you're going to the UK, the excitement and what you're looking forward to. I'll start with you and you pass over the mic.
Okay, having to go to the UK was like a dream come true for me. And so the first time I stepped into the country, I have a little child and was between the age of 1. So as a Nigerian mother, I had to pack the baby.
On your back.
And then you have to use your normal wrapper to just get the baby. And everyone on the bus was like clicking, who is this? Like, what's happening here?
Yes.
So I think it's like a pretty shock to them.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
also to me, when I see them just carrying their babies in a stroller and no one is backing the baby, I'm like, in this weather condition, like, this is cold for a child.
I like what you say there. You're just coming into the country, and that's what you know to do in your country, putting the baby on the back.
Yes.
And I remember I used to do that as well. So you're in a country where it's so cold. Let me put my baby at the back so I can keep my baby warm.
Exactly.
So people looking at you was like a culture shock. So they were looking at you, and I suppose you're looking at them, thinking, "What are you
Exactly.
doing?"
Like, what's
Wow, that's
happening?
interesting. That's interesting. I'll tell you what, I actually had that similar experience as well. And you, my sister, your first impression as well.
Well, with me, like she has said, when you're in Africa and everything is approved and you are ready to come to the UK, you're like on cloud 9. That's where I was. But when I arrived in the UK, oh my God, I think I had not done quite a lot of research. So when I stepped into the country, I remember it was around September. So it was a rainy season. The clouds were dark. That shook me, that on its own, the weather. And waking up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you look outside, it's dark. Totally different from what I know back in Africa. And late in the afternoon, around 3 p.m., 4 p.m., the sun goes down.
It's dark again.
So that, for me, it was a trauma. At some level, I just had to adjust to that kind of a weather.
And I know it's something that I know we're just laughing about it. I mean, we have to. But I understand what you're saying. You're coming from a country where 3 a.m. it's already bright. The
Yes.
sunshine is already out there, and you're coming to this country where it's very dark. And there's something about the weather as well that it contributes to our mood, and we're going to touch a little bit about that as well. And over to you, my sister.
Okay, well, for me, I think that the experience was a little bit different because I came in May.
Okay.
So, first time I saw, like, it was 10, I think I was, that time, 10 or 10:30 was when the sun would go down. So it was
Okay.
bright
Okay.
until, so the experience was a little bit different, I think.
So yours was different.
Yes,
So
it
our
was
year
different.
timing is very important.
Yes,
So to
yes.
people that are listening to avoid September, maybe come in May.
Yeah.
So what was your impression, obviously, just coming in here? Besides that, the weather was good for you at that particular moment.
I mean, the excitement really, because I think for everyone it's really like, oh, well, I'm going to the UK. You know? And, you know, the UK, for a person who's in Africa, the UK is like Canaan, milk and honey, the land of
Exactly.
milk and honey.
Exactly.
So to actually come into the place and not, and at first when you think and you know, I mean, not know, but when you experience it, it's not that bad. But as I've said, that for her it was different because of the weather and everything like that. Of course, it's not just the weather, but I think for my experience, but it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't
actually.
that bad. Okay.
Yes, yes.
That's good. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, my sister.
Thank you. For me, it was, well, it was more or less the same in terms of weather,
Okay.
but it was different infrastructure.
Okay.
Move vehicles all over. So it's just like you are looking, you're checking out what's happening here. You know, you're admiring his Heathrow Airport. Oh, this I'm in London. The it's more like mixed feelings when you come from when you boarded the flight. When I boarded the flight, it was like, oh God, I'm going to the UK. I don't even know this place, but I'm going to possess the land.
Exactly.
But when I arrived, now the weather, I remember I was just wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
I had to just go to the bathroom and change and wear something warm because it was so chilly. Then after that, we had to be taken to the hotel where we would stay. But the traffic now, the cars, it's beautiful, but at the same time confusing. You want to grasp everything, but everything's just too much. It's overwhelming. So it was a mixture of everything for me. But eventually, when I got settled, now reality shook me like, okay, I'm here now. Where am I?
What am I doing?
What am I doing here?
Whilst you're saying that, there's a verse that talks about everything happening so fast that your head will spin. And I think whilst she was talking, it was as if like I could see that verse that everything was happening so fast for you that your head was spinning, and I can hear that emotions. You know, like you don't know what's going on. Everything is happening so fast for you. That was the first impression, but. I tell you what, I'm glad that obviously after the experience of the first impression, you're all here. And how long ago was that?
It was like some 18 months back.
Okay. So which is not bad. And so you're now in the UK. You've settled down in the UK. You now have your homes and you settled down. Talk to me about the culture shock. What exactly do you miss from home? The difference. Your experience back home, because remember, I want you to remember this. There's somebody who's listening right now. They're preparing to come to the UK, and by you, explaining your experiences and your culture shocks, you're actually preparing them to say, look, when I'm going, for example, let me avoid going in September because it's going to be done. So probably let me go in May. So talk to me about your experiences. Also, I'll start with you.
Okay. For me, I don't think it was really that bad.
Okay,
Do you know,
that's good.
because I already had family that was already here.
Okay.
So for someone who would be coming like they don't know anyone,
Yeah.
then it would be different for me because I already have people that I know that are already here. So the experience is a lot different.
Yeah, I like what you say there because we've got people that came into the country 20 years ago. They didn't have any relatives. They really struggled. For example, where do I get accommodation? Where do I get food? Where do I go for my medical help? But then for some people who came like few years back, and then they've got relatives. So for you, it wasn't a struggle because you had people that already paved the way for you, and so it was so easy for you. And so yourself, maybe there was somebody that already paved the way for you. What was your experience, and what is your experience now?
Well, with myself, there were no relatives. But I just thank God, and I'm appreciative of the fact that the company that we were coming to work for, they'd actually prepared everything for us in terms of accommodation, in terms of obviously the work itself, in terms of also giving us some few information with regards to health, with regards to transportation, because at that time really you don't even know where the west is from the south. I really struggle with that myself. I don't know where the south is, the north, the west, the east. I just have to, but thankfully for technology as well, you have to use the GPS.
Which one is the south?
Yeah, so with us navigating the whole system, it was a challenge at first, because sometimes in terms of transport with buses, it's totally different from where we come from. Like the buses here, you have to be there on time. The time schedules, whether it's going into town or from town, if you don't pick up that, because we were not aware of where the south and the north is. Instead of going to work, we were going to town. And we had to start again. They call us at work, where are you guys? We took the wrong bus.
And the thing is, the buses in Africa, they can wait for you. They don't go until the bus is full. Here, as long as they say 7:15, the bus is gone.
It has to go. So in terms of transport, that was our challenge. But in terms of work itself, I think there's quite a very big gap in terms of work ethics compared to where we are coming from. Obviously, because of the different cultures, it's really a shock on its own, because you are trying to grasp the systems of the work itself and trying to declutter what you are used to and embrace what's in front of you. So that on its own, it's quite overwhelming. So for those who are coming from Africa, I would suggest that they really do a good research, a broad research with regards to that, so that when you come, you are emotionally ready, and you are even physically ready, because the 12-hour shift is not a joke. 12-hour shift, it's like when I came from Africa, I told myself, I'm an African woman. I've got the strength. I can do this. But my sister, my brother, it will humble you. 12-hour shift, my God. Like, I just had to adapt. But really, it's not a train smash. It's train smash, as it were. It's something that's doable, as long as you have had enough research and your preparedness is at that standard. You are able to grasp all that. So even in terms of family, because I had to come first and my family follow thereafter, that on its own, I think socially it's something that can affect you drastically. Where your family is away. I remember my youngest son, I never separated with him. That was my first. So that on its own, at work, tears would just come out, just to remember that my son is not here with me. You're going back to the room that's empty, to no one. You're just by yourself there. That again, it's something that you have to prepare for. And eventually when they joined, we became our one happy family, and that was magnificent. And I believe in a nutshell, really, you have to be prepared socially, emotionally. I don't know with financially. I believe with financially, it was just the grace of God. That one, it was just taken care of. So you'll get there.
I'm hearing preparation. That preparation is very vital. So for somebody who's listening, it's important for them to prepare for the things that you have mentioned. I suppose we're not just talking about preparing for the bad things, but also prepare for the good things. And what we are saying is UK is not really a bad place to live, but because of the weather environment that is different, the cultural ethics that is different, or because you're leaving your family behind. So you need to be able to prepare yourself for that. Because you do not know once you get in here. So you're saying some very good points, at which we will come back to these after a while. So I'll come to you, my sister, as well.
A lot of talks, actually. All right. I'm coming from Nigeria. I'm sure people from Nigeria will really, really more with this. Like, just like the transport system, it's well organized here. When you're going through the submarine, you know you're going through the subway, you know the timing and all. In Africa, I'm not sure it's like that. You just go in when you're ready to go. So right here, you have to learn to be time conscious so that you manage your time properly as well. Time management is very important. So many times I missed my bus and train sometimes. So you just have to learn through that. So another thing about the corporate work is that, and they really believe so much in having qualifications that are more related to the United Kingdom.
Right.
So if you want something in the corporate space, you have to be well prepared to streamline some of the qualifications you have in Africa to align with that of the United Kingdom, so that you'll be acceptable into the field. Otherwise, you may have to struggle a lot.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of process. You have different kind of assessments they do for graduates, even for the experienced ones. And if it's not really what they're expecting, you may not be embraced. In line with that, another thing I've been learning is that Africans are very communal people. We live in communities. So, so if you're not seeing someone for like 2 weeks, you're like, how are you? Oh, what is happening? But right here, every man to a extent. So even if I'm not seeing you for 1 week, somebody's not bothered. We're just normal co-tenants living on the same block. I really don't know what is happening in your life, and I'm not interested. Everyone keeps to themselves here. So it could be kind of emotionally traumatizing for some people that are used to having families around or having friends around. So you have to be prepared in that regard, that if you really want to really stay and you want to prosper in staying with among the white or the black or fellow people within the state, you need to learn to mind your business. To some large extent, I mean, because they really like to keep things to themselves, and they are very quiet. They are not the kind of very noisy people, and not so vocal as much as Africans are. So it's not a bad thing for them. It's just part of the way their culture is. Meanwhile, we are very much more communal, and we just want to know what is happening to you. So you need to learn how to give people space, respect people's space, and just stay within that. And those are the things I've been learning so far.
You actually said some very important points there. So to somebody who's listening, who's already in Africa looking forward to come to the UK, you say some very crucial points. You say that if you want to come and work in the corporate world in here, your qualifications that you achieved in Africa might not work in the UK. So the preparation is get yourself ready, do the courses online so you can get the right qualifications here, which is actually important because, and I think, you know, it saves people time when you come over here. You want to start to do the qualifications, but if you come with those qualifications as well, that will also prepare you for the duration that you're going to be here. And you did mention as well about you know, again, it's just culture, the way you speak to people. You know how in Africa we are a community, you wake up in the morning, it's like, good morning, like we know how to shout. And it's not really shouting, that's how we do. But I remember doing that to my neighbor and say, good morning, like what you said. She just said, shh, you know. So it was disturbing her peace. So, and again, it's important to be aware of that, like what I used to do back home. Here it's completely different. You mentioned about the community in Africa, like, you know, your families coming together and everything. But in here, you don't even know the neighbor, the person who lives next to your house. That can be difficult as well on its own. I'll come over to you, my sister.
Well, for me, I think people need to be prepared, especially when you are doing a career change. That's very distressing because most of the times you come from an environment where you're always on the laptop, or maybe you're really not on the ground as per se. But when you come here and you now need to go on the ground, you're like, oh my God, what did I put myself into? You should just prepare yourself, my brother, my sister, because if you're changing careers, just know that if you're starting on the ground, really you have to start on the ground. Just imagine yourself in Africa pushing that wheelbarrow. You are starting from the ground. So generally, I think that's what really traumatized me in the first week, because you'll be told, go to this place. What? Why am I even doing it? Because you think last week I was making my cup of coffee and chatting to friends, but here it's work. There's no chit chatting.
No.
People will have no time to chit chat. They'll be like, when you maybe morning you go, you do your thing. Then when you're stopping, I remember we had fellow Africans who were already in the home, but they will be like, how are you? This person is just, I'm fine. Then I'll be like, you're fine, you're going. And how are we not talking? It's work. Wow. That's really a shock. But the other thing that was also very challenging for my part was to look for accommodation. My family also was coming. But the system here, the process, I was like, what? Why is there so much paperwork and all these processes? Because you'll be like, no, you need to go and view the house. How many people are coming to view the house? No, I need this house. Give it to me. No, my sister, we have a process.
Yes.
We have how many people that have applied, and we look into all these details of people qualifying. And, so it was really daunting and very, it was also time consuming, because you view about 10 houses and nothing comes up. Remember, you're the first, you've just come to the country, you don't have any credit score, you don't have anything that shows that this person has been here. So obviously these people in front of you will just take credit, you will get the house. So it was just by grace that I just got where I'm staying at the moment, because someone said, no, I'll talk to them, and they provided. And here, in as much as in Africa, where we think there's corruption or nepotism, here nepotism, they don't see it as nepotism. Nepotism, they don't see it as it's about helping you. I know you're looking for a job, I'll speak to this one, and this one will put you in, then it goes on. I have a job, I have my spouse is a driver. You need a driver. Yes, my spouse is coming, you can drive the car. It's not like in Africa. You say, no, it's nepotism, corruption. No. That's the how I think maybe the culture also encourages family to be in one place, and work together, we are together. It also brings this unity.
Even though this whole thing that you mentioned about credit check, like or credit or scores, you just come in, you know nothing about the scores, and it's completely new for you. You've got no idea what. So may I ask you the job you're doing when you're still back in Africa?
Well, I don't know what to say.
See, it's very important what you say, because I remember when I left Africa, so I went to do like executive secretarial. So I was working in an office. So I was working in an office as somebody else's PA. So I know how to do the typing and filing. So I'm wearing heels, you're looking nice. You come over here, flat shoes. You do care work, cut your nails, no makeup, no nothing. So you're walking in a nursing home, and there's the grandma, clean them. And I'm thinking, my own grandma, she's almost having something, but she looks after herself.
Exactly.
I think it's some of these things that, obviously we take for granted, but it's important that we talk about them, because I tell you what, ladies, there are people that are really struggling.
Yes.
There are people that are going through a lot, especially now that a lot of people are coming to work in the health sector. People are coming with no families, they're on their own. Some are going back home. Some are even committing suicide. Some are depressed. So sometimes I think we take it for granted, but it's important this for us to have this discussion, because it will help somebody. It will help somebody. Then there are some people that may be living in towns where there's no church to go to, or they don't have other fellow sisters to say, look, I'm here, or just everything is going to be okay. So, and I think it's, this conversation, I believe it's going to help somebody, whether who's preparing to come to the UK or who's already in the UK. So we want to sort of like, okay, I went through these challenges, but this is what I did to help. And I want us to touch about children, childcare in Africa. You can just go auntie, you can just call your grandma to come in. Now you're coming to this country, the kids have got no, childcare is very expensive. I can start with you because I know you've got a small child.
My goodness, that's a lot. Yes. Because the childcare could even be a single criteria for you to be a criterion, to make a kind of choice of the kind of work you want to do. Because you can leave your child alone unattended, Unlike Africa, I could possibly say, I'm going to work. Back in Nigeria, my child was less than 3 months. He started crutch. I went back to work and there was no big deal about that.
Yes.
But right here, when he's not 2 years old, he can start school. Then he's not 3, he can do 15 hours. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with all the whole time? And you don't even have a relative as such. Aside those you later meet, maybe in church or something, to drop a child with, because somebody must be taking care of the child part time. Otherwise, it's going to be an illegal thing that you've done. So it's really challenging in terms of choosing the kind of work to do. It has to be a work that is very flexible, that will make you to have time to attend to the child, and perhaps you should have the cooperation of your partner or spouse as well. Because both of you can sit down and make decision who's going to be doing the flexible work, who's going to be doing the full-time work, so that spending the time the child is still on the 5 thereabouts before going to school and all that, somebody can be available by time to take care of the child. Or perhaps if you're then very wealthy enough, you can perhaps take the child so the nursery and then pay for the full day, which can be very costly.
Childcare is very expensive, and you know, in your situation, it's more like you're blessed to have your partner. You can imagine some those are single parents
It's really challenging.
where I have to go to work and I have to leave my kids by themselves as well. So that's something. I'll over to you, my sister.
Well, here in the UK, the child care is well structured, totally different from Africa. You know, you can't leave the children on their own in the house, obviously for safety reasons. Like the under 10s, obviously something bad could happen in the house because they have to be managed. So with us, we are privileged enough because I have my husband. So on that criteria as well, you either choose the other one does night shifts and the other one does the day shift.
It's it's like the husband is coming in and the wife is going out, which is something that we also know that it can be very difficult to have that family life together, because one has to go in and one is to come out. Even with the children as well, if they were born in Africa, they used to just play outside. You just can see that tree, go play with the tree, and they can just be going and play football because everything. But here it's cold, it's limited. You know, sometimes we don't think about the children as well. That can be as much as we are traumatized and worried about even ourselves, and it's the kids as well that can actually suffer as well, because you know that sunshine will do them good. Play outside, and sometimes we don't think that as much as it is overwhelming for us, it's also overwhelming for the kids. And it talked to me as well about the kids. I don't know, do you have children?
Not yet. Not yet. So I think the issue of kids differs from different families. For me, as a single person, I had 2 kids. I have 2 kids, and at least I was lucky because my boy is 16, so he was able to be, even if I'm away, he can manage the system. So the plan that I had to take was to do night shift. So that in the morning I come and birth the little one, I take her to school, I pick her up, everything, even for sports or clubs or anything pertaining her well-being during the day, I'm there. Then when they go to bed, I go to work. That has worked really well for me. And if someone really struggling on that regard, then I think that could be an alternative to look into, especially when you are just one person looking after your children.
So I want us to talk about all of us. The struggles that you, as individuals, as Black African women, this was my challenge, and this is what I did to overcome it. And then I also want us to talk about the good. This, I think, is also my benefit, because I also know that as much as we have the culture shock and everything, there's something that we've benefited. And I say this because I came over here 2001 and 23 years back, and I thought I was going to go back. And so I was like, you say, I'm just coming to the UK. I just want to make my money. I do my education and I go back home. So I stayed, and I came here 2001. finish my university, and after that 23 years I'm still here. So that means there must be something good about the UK as well. So I want us to talk about obviously the hard part and also the good part. Yes, I can start with you since you have the mic.
Yes. Okay. I think for me, the good part with this country is that there's no load shedding. Well, everything, utilities are just consistent.
Yes.
It makes life normal.
Yes.
You have your water, you have your electricity, you have your transport, you have your shops open up until 10 at night.
Some 24
some others 24 hours. You know? So I think with the advanced nature of this developed country, I think basically my take home is that I'm in the right place. Obviously, when you go to a new place, you have to find your feet. And these are the challenges that we've just initially talked about. But I know, like, in the next 2-3 years, we'll not even be thinking about those challenges that you've been walking and waiting for the bus to stop. The bus doesn't stop. And I'm like, you're right. Because there's a bus coming in 10 minutes time. You know, like, when you cry, did you see me? You know, that's those challenges. But I think for me, especially with the kids, I think it's beneficial for them. I am old. I think the benefits for me really, I could have benefited if I came 20 years back. But I think for now, what I'll see for my children, I think they will benefit more.
That's
like the economy is good, the education system is good, and they have generally different choices in terms of careers, pathways. So that one, I am hopeful. That definitely the next 3, 5, 10 years will be in a different spot.
Oh yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, I think for my side, the good in this is here in the UK you are exposed. So you have a lot of exposure, you have a lot of different opportunities. You want to study, you want to advance your career, you want to change careers, whatever you want to do. So I think that you have exposure, you have people that are in different fields that you can actually talk to, that can actually help you in regards to that, to say, okay, I want to do this, I want to study this. Then there's people that will say, no, it's better to do this because this will then help you in this regard, or whatever the case may be. So I think that exposure in itself, it's very good.
It's good. I like what you say, because I didn't even realize, coming here to say I'm choosing to do sports. Imagine in Africa, you say to a parent, I'm going to do sports. I'm going to run. Run for what? You get? But in here, like even to play football, to play football, I know the opportunities are quite great. You talk of some of the footballers, some of them, they've never even finished their, their education, and look, they're the ones that are getting paid more. So the opportunities here, there's quite a lot. Yes, over to you, my sister.
Well, with me, I would say really, like she mentioned before, that I would say it's a land that's still filled with milk and honey.
Yes.
For some of us, I don't know with others, but in my experience, my entire life, because I think I'm headed for the peak, as it were. But coming to the UK, really the good side or the upper hand for me is stability and sustainability. Here you can sit down and plan your life by the grace of God. So I was actually speaking to someone, and I was actually saying, here, if your pay date is on the 25th, come the 25th, midnight, your money comes in. There is no stories about that. My money is in my account. I don't have to explain or call someone, why is my money not yet here or what? So that on its own, in as much as the shock that I had as well here in the UK, it looks like in terms of your rates, the rentals, it's quite steep compared to where we are coming from. But I think if you are working well and you are prepared and you plan your things, you are able to cater for that. And also the good part is the more you work, in as much as tax comes and chows somewhere somehow, but in as much the effort that you put is as much as you get out of it. It's unlike where we are coming from. You work, but at the end of the day, it's just hand to mouth,
Yes.
as it were. But what I really appreciate with this land
Yes.
is stability
Yes.
and consistency for myself and for my family. And the other part, just in general, what's called menial in Africa.
Yeah.
Here it's sort of you are at par, even an accountant and those who are called menial workers.
Yeah.
There's not much of a difference.
Okay.
You know, I've discovered that back where I come from, at the end, the professional or the scarce skills, they tend to now think low
Yes.
of these menial workers. But in this land, it looks like we are all
Oh yes.
at the
Yes.
we are all equal, and that's what I just like
Yes.
about
Yes.
this land that we are in.
Oh, wow. That's powerful. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, just from where she stopped, like in terms of the wages and all, there is true reward for labor. So
Yes.
you really do not have a reason as an Africa, with the whole Africa power that you have, you can be lazy. You can't have the power for nothing, you know. So far you, and so definitely as an African, once you're very determined in this nation, you're headed for the top.
Yes.
Because we actually we are very resilient to a lot of
Yes.
things, and we can fight through a lot of things.
Yeah.
The weather may be harsh, but we are above the weather
Yes.
because we have a tough skin and we get better. So another thing is that what I appreciate is the serenity of the environment.
Yes.
Back home, I live in a noisy city. I used to live in a noisy city. Everyone is putting on one generator set or the other. The noise is popping in and out, noise pollution, air pollution and all. And the first time I slept and I woke up, like no one is putting on the generator set. Like really? There could be a life like this.
Yes.
So the serenity, it makes it easier to live healthier.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once you are living healthier, you can achieve more in health.
Yes.
So it's really something I appreciate because I really cherish good health.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that is really nice.
Oh, wow.
And as an African, we're too focused. So I know we can achieve a lot in the place where things are already in place.
Yeah.
Because the system here works. So it's what we make out of the system that is very important.
Okay.
So as Africans, we can really make a lot out. At 40, we can go back to school and say, I want to be a medical doctor.
Exactly.
It's possible.
And graduate.
So it's just about the focus and
Yeah.
putting the energy and having the grace, and
Yes.
it's going to be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh wow, wow. You see, I'm processing everything. Very good points that are coming. So lastly, I want us to talk about, you mentioned that when you came over here, it was easy for you because you had your family around. For somebody who's just came into the UK, I want us to talk about the importance of sisterhood. And when I say sisterhood, I'm talking about, for example, women today. You know, for me, I find that I found sisters that I can talk to, you know, share ideas and do a lot of things, like, again, even knowing about different organizations. I want us to talk about the importance of having organizations like Women Today. How important is it, especially for you ladies? I can start with any of you. How important is it to come and have an organization that knows exactly what you're going through, that can support you? I'm saying this because there could be somebody out there, they've got no one to talk to, they have got no idea, but having an organization or sisters that they can also come and say, do you know this? How can I find help with this? How can I navigate this? Because I'm new and I don't have family.
All right, thank you. So, well, with me in that arena, like I said, when you arrive the first time here and you're just by yourself, it can be emotionally draining or even traumatizing, as it were. Like I said, I'll be there in my room, tears are just, coming down. There's no one to talk to. You're from a 12-hour shift that you're not even, used to. So, with me, what I did at that particular time, because I take my spirituality quite serious, at that time I had to keep my serenity by prayer, obviously. And I had that yearning inside me to look for a church,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, because I knew that once I get to a church,
Yes.
I'll find an
Yes,
answer to that.
yes, yes.
So at that time, I was blessed. I managed to find our church here,
Yes.
VCMI.
Yes.
And in VCMI, that's where I met my lovely sister. And from that particular time, we became like, you know, like, wow, in the UK, I can still
Yeah.
find sisters like this. So that's when I was able to talk. Women Today came up. Oh, there are big organizations like this that embrace, you know, such people like us. We are here for the first time. We are traumatized. We don't even know where to start, you know. But Women Today has given us a voice, a platform where we are able to speak as women. We know what other women are going through in this country by themselves. And I believe Women Today, you know, just has that ear, you know, to listen to the women. And what I like about women, really, when you find a sister, they become a sister. They are there for each other. I'm not discrediting men, but men, obviously, there's that ego aspect of things. But with women, that humility, that embracing nature that we have as women, that did a lot for me when I came to the UK. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think it's right, like what you're saying. There's something about, again, finding the right sisters that will really understand you, support you, be there for you, or pray for you, and really say, look, genuinely, I love you and I can be there for you, which is something that's so beautiful for me. That's something that I've also discovered as well. Yes.
Okay, having to have a relationship cannot be overemphasized because we are human first. So relationship is a crucial aspect of our lives. So, and when you then get to see a community you feel belong to, like you really feel acceptable, it's a plus. So I think Women Today is doing great because even regardless of your nationality, your background, and all, you just feel so embraced, and they want to hear what you have to say per time. They want to, and then the team want to see, oh, I'm seeing this great potential. Can I assist to make this thing much more glorious? Can I help you shine? And that is what the community does when you're within those that really appreciate your potentials, and that is what Women Today. That's what it does. Yeah.
So anything burning for you, my sisters, that you want to advise somebody who's got their bags packed ready to come to the UK? Any last burning advice that you want to give them? It's your time to say something. If you've got anything burning, anything at all. But if you don't, that's yes.
I think for me, the first thing to remember is who you are.
Yes.
As a person,
Yes.
as an individual,
Yes.
apart from being in UK, apart from being in Africa,
Like
wherever you are,
Like
just
that.
know who you are.
Yes.
If you know who you are, then you'll be able to, even when you are in a particular place where
Yes.
you are not known, or where you don't even know the place,
Yes.
you can stand.
Yes.
And if you are able to stand, then you
Yes.
can conquer.
Yes.
Because, like we are speaking about Women Today, when I arrived, I knew myself. I knew why I'm here
Yes.
and where I want to be.
That's good.
And I decided, okay, I don't even know this place. I need to find a home
Yes.
in terms of my spirituality,
Good.
because that is the anchor that I have anyway. I think different people will align maybe to different things
That's
in their
good.
spirituality, or in how they see the other life, or
Yes.
the upper power for them.
Yes.
So depending on where you come from. But for
Yes.
me, basically being a Christian really made me say, okay, I'll be praying, but God, I need to find somewhere where I
Yes.
need to belong.
Yes.
I found
Yes.
a church in Newcastle. I remember the first day when I went, my landlord was like, oh, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to church. Oh, church? And church is something different in this country. I like, I just looked up on, where? In Newcastle. How are you going to go there? I just Googled, take the train, and I had to find the train.
Wow.
You know, I managed to get into the
Yes.
place. And the other thing, like in the home, you well, maybe being being black, you are black. I mean, in a more kind of a white environment. And when you go to town and you see a black person, you be like, oh, I don't know you. Hello. So it's also nice. It gives you, oh, okay, there's someone here who is like me, you know. So I think knowing yourself and knowing what can make you stand, even when you're by yourself, and having that upper power will actually make you able to stand.
I like that. You know, you reminded me when I first came here, and the first time I saw a black sister in a supermarket, I just went straight to her and I hugged her. I had no idea where she was from. I just said, "It's good to see you, my sister. God is so good." You know, it's some of these things that we do, and I mean, looking back, it's funny now that we can have a conversation about it. But that time, like, you know, the experience, like you just coming from a place where you, like what you say, I'm the only black person around and nobody's there, even just saying hello. So I think it's it is actually quite good. It is a culture shock on its own as well. Looking at it, like that sister, she just looked at me. She said, "Well, it's good to see you." And then I had to say, "Where are you from?" It didn't matter that time. All it was just good to see a black sister.
You need it.
That was it. But now it's a completely different story. You walk everywhere, so we see black sisters everywhere. Anything burning, or you are okay?
To me,
Yeah.
I'll just as a goodwill message to anyone planning to come. Keep adding value to yourself.
Yes.
Once you have so much value, nobody can disvalue you. Not even in the corporate world. When they see you too valuable, you can't discard the gold because you know the value. So once, just keep adding value to yourself so that you become like, you become like someone you can't do without. Like, it's not severe you can do without anyone, but when you have a lot of value, people cannot just trash you. So just keep adding value to yourself. Even as you come in, keep adding value so you become relevant at every point.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
And with me, I what I would just say to the sisters or brothers out there is just being confident in yourself, because the environment sometimes can be crushing.
Oh God, yeah.
It can crush your spirit. It can, cause you to think that little of yourself. But with experience and with time, they say time is a healer, or life is a good teacher. So the more you are here, the more you toughen up, and they will be surprised.
You see the attitude in that surprised. I'm already surprised. I like that.
Yes. I also want to add that, with everything that has been said, that in every place there's the good and the bad, but I feel like the good always outweighs the bad.
I like that.
So in as much as there's some negatives on coming here and everything, but come. As time goes on, you will get used to it, and you will find yourself in everything that you do. So come.
No, it's good you're saying that, because even for me, up to in 26 February 2001, I'm still here. And I think again as well, it's knowing what you have left behind. Some people have a choice. They can say, I'm going because my parents were comfortable, I was like this, so I can go back. But again, everybody's story is different. For me, I was the first person who came over here. Then I had my brother and my sister to join later. So I had no choice, and I knew the whole family, not just the immediate family, the grandmas and the uncles and the whole tribe is looking out for you. So sometimes if you toughen up, you do the jobs that you didn't think you were going to do, like which I did any kind of job you think of. I cleaned school toilets, I did everything, but we're here now. And thank you so much, ladies. I think this is really good. It's good in a way that it will prepare other people. When you're coming in here, be prepared for this, and this is going to change. So anything that you change, sometimes it can be very difficult. Adapt to the weather, look for churches, community, know who you are, and stay connected. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation. It's one of those table talk I did that we were laughing and enjoying, and honestly, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me here at Women Today Table Talk.
Thank you.
So you have been listening, and I've enjoyed myself, and I'm sure you have as well. So if you're planning to come to the UK, or you're already in the UK, you're planning to come to the UK, this is what my sisters have said. Preparation is very important. Do your research right, or know exactly which month to come to the UK. You know, find out, is it going to be winter or is it going to be summer? If you, you know, you're going to be very cold, obviously. So maybe come in summertime. Preparation is very important. You've heard my sister has talk about the qualifications. You want to come here, you want to go in the corporate world, start to do your trainings whilst you're still there. You know, do your research, adapt. And even when you've come over here, it's important that you look for like-minded sisters or brothers that you can connect with. Don't go through things alone. Don't struggle alone. Again, adapt. You know, look for churches, look for community places, ask and get some help. Don't struggle by yourself. Even for your children, you know, if you have children, again, don't ignore your children. We know you're doing a 12-hour shift, but look out for your children so, because they also need it. As much as you're also being traumatized, remember that the children are also being traumatized. And I know from this table talk you've really enjoyed and you've learned a lot. And if you have loved ones that want to come to the UK again, share this video with them. Let them know some of the things that they need to be prepared for. I hope you have enjoyed this table talk as much as I have. Thank you so much for joining us here at Women Today Table Talk with my name, myself, Locardia. Until next time, thank you and goodbye. I didn't like it.
Thank you very much. That was good.